Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at r/AmITheDevil. So if you would like to judge some big old gaping buttholes with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And don't forget to like and subscribe, please, thank you. And of course, quick disclaimer, any opinions that I give on the post we read are just opinions, not facts, do not need to be taken as such. If you have a differing opinion, please do feel free to leave it in the comments below. Just of course make sure to keep it respectful with each other. There is no need to be mean to each other just because you do not agree. With that being said, let's get into it then, shall we? Okay then, so first post reposted by @DTJ. Why did I say that so weird? I don't know. Breaking news, man discovers acne. So this was originally posted in r/relationship advice, and the original title was feeling shocked and confused after I, 22M, saw my girlfriend, 21F, without makeup. How do I navigate? My girlfriend and I have been officially dating for less than a week, but we've been seeing each other for about 2 months. Things have been really good and we've gone on nice dates. We're taking things slow physically, no sex yet, and we've just been getting to know each other. One thing I never really noticed until recently was how much makeup she wears, or maybe she's just very good at applying it and I genuinely couldn't tell. Her makeup always looked really natural, so I never gave it much thought. If I really paid attention, I might have seen a little skin texture, but nothing that stood out. I'm sorry, but if she's wearing that much makeup, if she wears a lot of makeup, you can tell. You can tell. The only time I could say it's acceptable to say that you can't tell when someone's like really, wearing heavy makeup is if they've kept the eyes to a more sort of natural look and, it's more heavy skin makeup and it's a picture off of social media that's probably been edited or put a filter on, because in real life, you can see texture on heavy makeup no matter how good someone's skin is. It's normal, it's natural, and it's okay. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, by the way. I'm just saying he's either A, really stupid, B, never actually paid a lick of attention to his girlfriend's face, or C, he's being dramatic and she doesn't actually wear that much. The other night, we were at a party and both of us got tipsy. We ended up in a bedroom, the lights were off, and we started making out pretty heavily. It was hot, sweaty, and her face was kind of, smushed against my chest. Okay, dude, I'm not sure if you know what making out means, but to be successfully making out, her face shouldn't be smushed against your chest. You kind of have to be face to face for that to work. But okay. I wasn't wearing a shirt. We eventually fell asleep like that. I woke up before she did, and that's when I noticed. Most of her makeup had rubbed off during the night, and I saw her bare skin for the first time. She had really inflamed red areas on her cheeks and chin, breakouts on her forehead. It looked painful, like cystic acne. Okay, anybody else who has ever had any form of cystic acne, I have never had cystic acne, but I've had the odd cystic pimple before, I think any other human in the entire world has. And I've had a few friends that have suffered with cystic acne. Just putting on heavy makeup isn't covering that. You will see the texture. Again, unless you're not paying a damn bit of attention to your girlfriend, you would see the texture. You can hide the redness, to a certain degree, to be honest. Sometimes you can't even do that. You can hide, whiteheads, things like that. You cannot hide texture of cystic acne or cystic pimples. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I honestly think it is so normal to have texture on your skin when you're wearing makeup or not. This weird fantasy that the internet has created through social media filters and editing of photos that, faces are smooth and there's no texture to them. It's just such bollocks. So if you're ever looking in the mirror, comparing yourself to those pictures and thinking to yourself, why don't I look like that? Why is my skin not smooth? Why can I see normal skin texture when I put on makeup? It's because you are a human being and you have skin. Don't let yourself get bogged down in comparison of what is quite honestly and frankly not even real. Social media and the photos and all of that, it's not real. It's all highly edited. It's all curated. Do not get bogged down in comparison with the fake, basically. You will spend your life being miserable, concerning yourself with things that you never should have if you spend your time doing that. So yeah, it shocked me because she looked so different from what I was used to. It was one of those moments where part of me, if I'm being brutally honest, felt kind of deceived. It's like when there was that whole thing a little while ago where blokes were like, oh, you should take a woman. Well, actually, to be honest, this has been a saying for as long as I can remember, even since I was a kid. Take a woman swimming on the first date. Like, dude, if you fully believed that I have glittery eyelids naturally, more fool f***ing you, dumbass. So the OP then goes on to say, which is harsh, I know. It was more shock than actual twinge of feeling turned off by how she looked. But it really did feel like I was seeing a completely different person. Okay, so you only see someone on their surface level. Gotcha. I started wondering if she thought I was too clueless to ever notice, or if she just hoped I wouldn't care. When she woke up, I think she realised what happened. She looked embarrassed and went straight to the bathroom and stayed there for a while. I told her it was okay, that she didn't have to hide, and that her skin didn't matter to me, even though you're making a whole Reddit post about it and acting like it very much matters to you. I said what I thought was the decent thing to say, but now I'm questioning if I actually meant it deep down. Because truthfully, I haven't been able to stop thinking about how different she looked. I haven't ghosted her or anything, but I've definitely been keeping busy. I don't know what to say to her. She picked up on it and is clearly anxious over text, but I still don't know how to respond without either lying or hurting her feelings. I have the perfect plan of action for you, OP. You out yourself for the very shallow person that you are. You break up with her to allow her to get over that and then find someone who will actually be a decent person, who isn't so focused on the skin deep, and who also isn't a massive drama queen, because again, if she'd had that bad of cystic acne, you would have been able to tell whether she was wearing makeup or not. So you're clearly a drama queen as well, because there is no way her makeup rubbed off and then suddenly, bam, there it was. That's not how that works, my love. This whole thing's made me wonder if I rushed into this too quickly. She wanted some commitment, and I liked her enough to do that. Maybe I should have pushed back gently, and we should have spent more time dating casually, getting to know each other fully before getting official. I didn't expect to feel this way, but now that I do, I don't know what the right next step is. I know some people might read this and instantly call me shallow. Couldn't imagine why. It's a mystery. I've already run that accusation through my own head, but here's where I'm genuinely trying to understand the line. To me, there's a difference between someone wanting to look their best to feel confident and put together, and someone consistently presenting a version of themselves that's so curated, it creates a false baseline of what they actually look like. That distinction matters. Recalling some memories, I can tell now she wore full face makeup even for a casual coffee run. Honestly, it's baffling me how this guy thinks that we are going to fall for this. When people take off their makeup, they don't just suddenly transform into a completely different human being. They still look like them, but just, a more casual version of them. Yeah, they might have some redness to the skin, or they might have some scarring, or they might have some veins you can see, because they have a human body. Wow, shocker! Oh no! Like, it's crazy to me how this guy is expecting that we're all going to be like, oh my goodness, she's such a dirty liar for wearing makeup, which, so many women do. And it's just ridiculous that he's trying to get us to believe that she completely looks like someone else. The only time I've ever known someone to be wearing makeup and then look completely different, a completely different human being, when they're not, is when you compare social media photos to what they look like in real life without makeup. Because it's one thing to put makeup on, you are still going to look like yourself. Your features don't magically change. If you put heavy contour on to try and change the shape of your features, you can just see a brown line in real life. It doesn't look right. You can still see the actual real contours of your face underneath. The only time it actually works to trick the way you look is if you are wearing if you are using filters, if you are taking very well sort of angled photos, if you are editing your photos, then yeah, that might work and you might look like a completely different human being. I'll give you that. But on a day-to-day, even if someone wears heavy makeup and then takes it off, they don't just transform into a new species of human. That's not how that works at all. And if the makeup is heavy enough to completely change someone's face shape, you're gonna see it in real life. Like, it's not being hidden very well. I've dated someone with skin issues before, but it didn't change how attracted I was to her. Oh, how charitable of you. I fully understand that she doesn't owe me full vulnerability, especially not early on. But do I need to agree with the idea that her use of so much makeup was also about presenting a curated / false version of herself, and not just wanting to look her best? What if her idea of makeup really is to change her whole face? Is she wearing fucking special effects prosthetics or something? I fully refuse to believe she looks so different. That's just not how it works. I'm not claiming to be the victim here. It feels a lot like you are. But I also can't say she's entirely without responsibility in all this. She knew her natural skin might significantly affect how I saw her, and yet she allowed me to think that this is what she looked like. So I am also a little miffed with her. I don't know if I want to break up with her. She's a good person, but if I continue dating her, I'd want to force an honest conversation with her. Please dump her for her sake. My goodness. She deserves so much better. So FanFeeling7748 says, I don't think this is real because if her acne is that bad, there's usually a texture to the skin. Exactly. I think this is just slop. And you will notice that I had to censor that word, which annoys me greatly, but for some reason YouTube has really been cracking down on that use of that word lately. I like to keep on top of like what words YouTube likes to give you a spanky bum for. Like I go on like the Reddit forums for like small YouTubers and things like that, so you can like learn those things and learn what not to do basically. And apparently that is one of them now. Maybe YouTube is run by a ton of them. Who knows? So then Zappergirl02 says, exactly. If she has cystic acne, there's no way she's completely covering it with makeup, no matter how skilled she is. Precisely. So next post, reposted by TV Bajin FDDF. Wife wore a bikini. Not allowed. Wow. So this one was originally posted in r/relationship advice, and the original title was Wife 35F wore a bikini in Goa without telling me. Oh, shock horror. 35M. Can I start trusting again? My wife recently went to Goa with her college friends. According to her, it was an all-girls trip. When she came back, she showed me a lot of photos from the trip. She showed me a lot of photos in the clothes we bought together for this trip of hers. A few days later, I happened to see one of her friends' Instagram stories where she was wearing a big, oversized t-shirt. It made me curious, so I checked a few more stories from her friends using her phone. Turns out she was actually wearing a two-piece bikini underneath. She wasn't. Naughty girl. And there were multiple photos and videos of her in a very revealing bikini. Who wants to bet it was not a revealing bikini at all? What made it worse was that I also found chats where she had specifically asked her friends not to tag her in any bikini pictures. When I confronted her, she said her friends pressured her into wearing it and she didn't know how to tell me afterwards because she knew I wouldn't approve. You should never be worried about wearing a bikini and the consequences that would have for your relationship. It should always be that what you put on your body is your choice, you know? Yeah, if you're in a relationship, don't go rocking out with your muff out, like, but you know what I mean? Like, she claimed she was planning to tell me eventually. I honestly don't buy that. Another thing that bothered me was that although she kept calling it an all-girls trip, I spotted a guy in at least 2 of her friends' Instagram stories. He wasn't tagged, and I have no idea who he is. She says he was just someone from another group and I'm making too much. Yeah, probably. Like, you can't control what human beings are going to be around in a public area, and you know, her group might have had a chat with their group. Heaven forbid. My goodness, come on now. I would have told her not to wear a bikini if she'd asked me beforehand. I don't think there's anything wrong with a husband having boundaries, control, about how revealing his wife dresses around random men. These days people label every preference as controlling, but I feel that actually fits here. But I don't think expecting some level of modesty in a marriage is unreasonable. I'm all for women having equal rights, careers, independence, and travelling wherever they want, but I don't believe parading around half naked in front of strangers is some symbol of empowerment. It's a bikini. Everyone else on the bloody beach was probably wearing one. I mean, for God's sake, look at those tiny, tiny Speedos that blokes wear on the beach. Like, they don't get told they're being revealing. Like, they literally have their nerps out all day, every day on the beach. They don't get told they're being revealing, you know? For me, though, the bigger issue is the deception. She hid it, selectively showed me only the covered up photos, told her friends not to tag her, and I found out by accident. She's apologising to me every day now, but she's only doing that because she got caught. I don't know what to do or say anymore. Is it just me, or does this way that the OP is writing about their wife feel more like someone writing about a teenage daughter who has, I don't know, hidden cigarettes in their bedroom? Does anybody else get that feeling? It's like a talking down. It's like a, you didn't say, do as I told you to. You are beneath me. I make the rules here. Like, that's the vibe I'm getting. I understand that some people in relationships would have a preference for, you know, keeping covered up or whatever. You know, if people have certain religions and stuff, and as long as the other person is also okay with that, that's fine. But it does feel like the OP is controlling the wife and making her do things that she doesn't want to do, wear things she doesn't want to wear. She wants to wear a bikini. Let her wear a bikini. Unless you are insecure and untrusting of your wife, it shouldn't be a problem. Like, she should be able to be in places where other men are and it not be a problem because, I mean, they can look all they want. They can want all they want. But if you trust your wife, then it shouldn't be an issue because you should know she's not going to go anywhere bloody near them. I also totally expect that someone had said the same thing as that in the comments. And I bet somebody commented back going, but yeah, what happens if someone decides to, like, assault them because of that? Mate, there is literally a museum where they have outfits on display of what women were wearing when assaulted. They range from, like, full-on winter puffer jackets, tracksuits, boots, you know, pajamas, like work clothes, like a labourer's work clothes, you know, builder, things like that. I mean, come on now, it's nothing to do with the clothes. If someone's that way inclined, they're going to do it no matter what you're wearing. So, yeah, no, I ain't buying that this isn't about control. So, down in the comments, 00 Tears says, he pretty much said that he doesn't see a problem with a husband controlling his wife. Oh my god, this woman needs to run away. And then Column K says, it's not controlling, it's a preference, it's controlling. And then Cruzweb says, same person over there confusing rules with boundaries. Exactly. Like I say, if the wife was completely in agreement and totally agreed with the way he sees how people should present themselves and dress within a marriage, and she was like, yeah, no, I totally agree with that and that's fine, more power to you. I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum. If you feel and agree as a couple that modesty to a more sort of conservative style of dress is what you should be doing within a relationship, within a marriage, fair play. That's your thing. If you believe that you should be able to wear what you want as long as you're not letting your bits dangle out, then fair enough. But when one person's trying to push onto another, you have to wear this because I say so, because we're in a relationship, that's where I have a problem. That's a slippery slope, in my opinion. Now, I know that that's a divisive topic quite often, so I would love to hear what you guys think on that. That's just how I see it personally. But I think we've already all gathered that I'm very much we don't get to tell people how to present themselves and how to dress, that's not good. I have that view and I always have had that view. Some people might disagree. Fair enough. Let me know what you think. Last post for the day, posted by Sailor Chibi. Considers random girl his. So it was originally posted in r/am I wrong? Am I wrong for calling out my friend for setting me up on a pity date? Oh no. I, 32M, have a friend, 28M, who's the best looking man. Seriously, he makes Chris Hemsworth look ugly. I've been struggling being his friend. He's been undermining me for years. Nights out, stealing all the girls. Shopping, staff throw themselves at him. On the street, women have asked me for a picture together with him. Let's call him Jack. I've been told I'm not bad looking, but the fact remains, I'm a 6 out of 10 at best. See, this is where you're going wrong, my love. Stop trying to give yourself a score and a rating for where you position yourself in like the looks hierarchy, and have a little confidence, and I'm sure you'll do just fine. Quite often when I read these posts, I'm just like, you're talking yourself out of half of these opportunities, I imagine, or like the way they act or present themselves, like confidence-wise or whatever, is probably why they're not having success, not because someone else is better looking. To be honest, having the mindset of nights out, stealing all the girls, like, dude, if the girls were interested, they would come to you no matter what. They're clearly just not interested. Like, you can't steal them. They aren't coins. But Jack is a 10 out of 10. As much as he's a bro, knowing him is a liability. It's been eating into my life a lot, but one area I'm doing well is at the gym. I go about 4 times a week, and there's someone I'm into who goes to the gym. Let's call her GC for Gym Cutie. Gym Cutie is in her mid to late 20s. I've been going to the gym for over 6 months. I've seen her for a couple of months. I know her name. Gym Cutie and me flirt. I've spotted her and we banter. It's got to the stage that I'm on the verge of asking Gym Cutie out. I've been trying to keep Jack from the gym, but the last week he's started staying down my way and asked if he could go with me. Now, the time he mentioned was not my usual time, and Gym Cutie doesn't usually go, so I thought, why not? So we went. Dude, just ask the girl out. Like, if you've been having banter for ages and she's been flirting for ages, I mean, he says here a couple of months, and you've still not asked her out, he's gonna have this thing where I'm guessing she's gonna start showing interest in Jack, and then that's confirmation bias that, he steals all the girls. But no, it's probably because she decided, he must just see me as a friend because he's not asked me out. So, this new guy's cute too, so let me go and chat him up. Do you know what I mean? I was having a good session, then suddenly I see Gym Cutie. She's going on a different day because she's going away for work tomorrow and she's getting a workout in. I'm thinking things are going good. Time's good to ask Gym Cutie out. Fucking Jack walks over and she's gobsmacked. Like, I've gone from mate doesn't exist. I see them flirting, so I just walk off and go to get changed. As I'm getting changed, he comes back in and I see him sorting his phone out. I ask him what happened and he said Jim Cutie gave him a number. I'm so speechless, I just stop talking and carry on getting changed. I'm driving us back from the gym and he's talking about Jim Cutie and them going on a date. After a while, I just fucking snap and rip into him saying he's a prick and he's blocked me and stole my girl. She's not your girl, for one. 2, did you tell him you were into her? 3, why didn't you ask her out when you've had multiple chances? You cannot just call dibs on a girl, on a human being. What? He's trying to act all apologetic and says he has no idea, and I just drop him off home and tell him to get out. I'm so down. I haven't been to the gym this week. I also haven't spoken to Jack. A couple of days ago, Jack rings me out the blue asking if I'm okay, and he hasn't heard from me, and Jim Cutie hasn't seen me at the gym. He's worried about me. He says he's got a peace offering and says he's sending me an Instagram profile and says to look at it before I say anything. I look at what he sent me and it's a woman. She's a little chubby, not ugly or fat, and doesn't look like she goes to the gym. She also looks a bit nerdy. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And he says it's a friend of Jim Cutie. I'm angry because it's obvious him and Jim Cutie have been talking. He says, yeah, me and Jim Cutie went out for a coffee and we spoke. She feels bad I liked her and she didn't like me and thought of a friend I'd like. 34F. He's trying to sell me on this chick, like, bro, she sounds nice. A nerd like you, loves cats, and is a geek. If it was a few years ago, I'd probably be interested, but I've been trying to distance myself from that sort of girl, okay? Moans can't get women, turns down women. Make it make sense. Apparently him and Jim Cutie have spoken to the girl and she's interested in me adding her and going on a date. Apparently Jim Cutie has really been selling me. I fucking ripped into him. I'm telling him he's a twat for doing this and setting me up on a pity date and stealing the girl I like. He's all like, bro, chill, and thinks it's a good thing. That this girl is waiting for me to add her. I tell him to leave me alone. Am I the butthole for ripping him, setting me up on a pity date? That whole thing was so hard to read. There was words missing, no punctuation where it needed to be. Oh my god. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, I don't feel like he knew that any of this was in the OP's head. He doesn't sound like he said anything to that, he didn't offer the gym girl out. It sounds like he's just standing there waiting for women to fall in his lap, whereas Jack is probably one of those people that's literally like, will go up and introduce himself to people and, will put himself out there, whereas OP's standing back, not putting himself out there really, and expecting women to just, fall from the sky into his lap. That's not how that works. And none of this is Jack's fault. This is just like, Jack is clearly a lot more confident, OP isn't, and OP wants someone to blame with why it's not working out for them, and obviously Jack's the easiest person to blame. Okay then, so down in the comments, Final Egg 9 says, when girls pass over me because my friend's more attractive, that's outrageous and I'm pissed off at my friend, but when I pass over a girl because her friend's more attractive, that's acceptable and everyone should understand my point of view. Literally, it's like, OP, pot kettle, what are you doing? And then my darling armadillo says, Jim Cutie clearly wasn't even interested in the first place. She was quick enough to get Jack's number and was probably just being polite to the OP. The same way you are with anyone you see regularly. Yeah, that's the other thing, isn't it, as well? I took it that maybe she was interested and just got bored of waiting because obviously the OP said that she would flirt and they would have banter and blah, blah, blah. But then again, was she flirting or was she just being friendly? That is the question, isn't it? Like, it could actually have been that she was just being friendly. Okay then, so I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, that is your initiation into the Coven of Void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Don't forget to leave an offering of a comment for Big Al. Bye!